Hey, I'm Ton Vin, and this is Seattle Eats, a food podcast from the Seattle Times and KUOW. Open any social media app, and you'll see food influencers. Chefs talking about their recipes, critics reviewing restaurants. One of the first food influencers was Chef Roy Choi. You might know him as the father of the Korean fusion taco. Roy has accepted that as his legacy. He said it was like being Neil Diamond, and that Korean fusion was his sweet Caroline. But there's a lot more to Roy's career and his relationship with food. I interviewed Roy during a tour for his new book, The Choi of Cooking. We talked in front of a sold-out crowd at Freemont Abbey, arranged by Seattle's cookbook store, Book Larder. In our conversation, Roy shared what he thinks about food and his strategy to healthier eating while not giving up the comfort food he loves. Let's dive in. Roy Choi recalls a dark period in adulthood where he suffered from anxiety and depression. He was addicted to gambling and drugs. He devoured junk food and was binge eating. He was lost and rudderless. Then one day in the mid-90s, he was on a friend's couch in a haze, and Chef Emeril Lagasse appeared on TV. If you know anything about Emeril, it's probably his catchphrase.
Bam! 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 Oh, that's what I'm talking about.
Roy saw Emeril on the screen preparing a dish in a checkerboard kitchen.
I had an out-of-body experience, and Emeril came out of the TV and just shook me up, and it changed my whole life.
That moment inspired Roy to become a chef. He went to culinary school, then did the rounds working in hotel kitchens around the United States until 2008 when he was laid off. And along with a few buddies, he started the Korean taco fusion truck KUOW. KUOW became a sensation around LA. It made him a star. But the dark secret was he still had his food demons, the burger binges and the junk food cravings. His new book, The Choi of Cooking, is about his journey to eating healthier. When I met Roy in the green room before going on stage for our interview, I did a double take. Didn't recognize him. He had lost 30 pounds. He was munching on berries and nuts before the show. But it was a long journey before he became a veggie-first kind of guy. He told me it all started with the dark times he went through as a young man, eating to excess.
It's a bit of food sobriety in a sense, because I was drunk off food for so long, and the tough thing is that my body could handle it. That was my identity, going into a Korean barbecue restaurant and eating 10 orders, people would be disappointed if I ate any less, Coming to a city like Seattle, and I would hit 9 places, and eat full meals, and just rock out like that, and then or going out somewhere, if I ordered any less, people would be worried about me. They would jump in with intervention and be like, "Are you okay?" And that's cool, but it started to wear on me very heavily, and especially as I've gotten a little older, it's really became unsustainable, and I was just tired of. It wasn't a facade, but I was just tired of living that life, and I had to figure out a way to switch it up, but I didn't. But I wasn't at a place yet where I wanted to give up those cravings, because those are very special to me. Those moments of sitting down on the couch and pounding a whole half gallon, man, of ice cream. There ain't nothing better than that, And so what I did was I re-engineered things. The Choi of Cooking is all about life's journey and knowledge of getting to a point where you have enough knowledge to take it apart and put it back together again. Don't give up on burgers, and if you are on a path towards health and wellness, you don't have to reach the finish line on day one. You can take baby steps, and you can make it so that it's your form of wellness and health. And so have a burger, because a lot of the narratives and language behind wellness is you can't have a burger. So it's okay, if you are going to have a burger, then make it yourself or only have it once a quarter, but make it the best burger you could possibly make. And on every level, buy the best meat, make the pickles yourself, find the best baker in town, or make the bread yourself, get the best cheese, and all these things, the best, even down to the best salt, the best pan that you're going to sear the meat in, every level, create an echo effect so that that burger sticks with you for as long as it needs to stick with you.
So, in this book, you mentioned tofu and eggs are the real MVP in the kitchen. So why are those the Patrick Mahomes of a household? Explain that. Eggs and tofu. Why those two?
You were supposed to say Marshawn Lynch. Well, eggs for sure, because eggs are, the binder to everything. Without eggs binding, sauces to desserts to cakes to cookies to whatever to pasta, we wouldn't have a lot of the foods that we as humans have grown to create. It's a gift from an animal that I don't think respect enough, But what we have to realize is that they provide us with life, and so in that case, and then tofu is such a versatile protein that it has so many forms on its own. You can use the skin, you can use the whey, you can use, it's very much like cheese in a sense. You can use the product itself, the tofu itself, but it's so underutilized and misutilized in Western cooking, but it's one of the most important ingredients in cooking around the world, and especially in Asia. And it's a way, the reason why for me it's an MVP is if you can handle tofu correctly and really be one with it and cook with it, it will allow less killing of animals, And that's for me the most important thing.
And Roy, you, prior to your fame and fortune, you were a hotel.
You see my bank account? You keep talking about rich and famous. I don't know who you thought you were interviewing today. But I'm in the restaurant business, man.
So Roy, you, before the Korean taco truck, you were a resort chef. You were a hotel chef. And the common denominator of all those chefs is they hate the omelet station. They hate doing the omelet bar in the morning. You're the first weirdo I've met who loves the omelet station and loves working the omelet station.
We have a 4-page spread in the book for the omelet station, yeah.
Why?
And it's called Hotel Omelet Bar, the recipe. To me, it's the ultimate form of mise en place and organization and timing. I don't know why chefs have had such a bad eye or feeling towards it. If you really take a step back and break it down and look at the omelet station, it's the highest form of who we are as chefs. You're usually alone, right? You have to manage the whole station by yourself. You have to be completely organized to the point where you're not thinking anymore. You have to be complete muscle memory. You have to be Jason Bourne, and completely rely on your movements and another form of intellect outside of your brain. You have to be one with whatever's coming your way. You have to manage at least seven pans at a time, and you have to communicate with the guest, right? You can't just be in the back screaming obscenities. You got to be presentable, and you have to make someone's day. And you have to adjust on the fly, in the moment, with no written tickets. And you have to not only remember those 7 orders, probably more than 7, 14, because you have to have 7 other pans already lined up. And you have to have that going on, but even if you have everything in motion and everything is happening and you have it all in perfect rhythm, someone mid-omelet will say, I don't want mushrooms, even though they said extra mushrooms. And then that will start a chain of events. Then the next person will say, well, maybe I don't want mushrooms either. And then that will go to cheese, and then bell peppers, and then double egg, and then it will become egg whites. And then you've already had a tough time memorizing these 14 orders, and then they change every single order mid-omelet.
So is this the ultimate litmus test for a hotel cook?
Yeah. I would love to see some of these fine dining chefs run an omelet station. Yeah. Seriously. I know they're interviewing for the chef of Canlis right now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They
You
should make them
available?
do an omelet station, man. If I was running Canlis, I would be like, yo, like, get all you guys to order omelets and change them mid-order and see how the chef reacts.
There you go. And Roy, I promise we'll talk about the underwear recipe.
yeah.
So to back up here, his last book, what went viral, is that ramen hack. And this is my prediction. I'm telling you, in this book, the underwear rice bowl is going to blow up. So tell people what that is.
Yeah, I mean, the underwear rice bowl is, I think, is a recipe that you'll probably make a lot from this book. You can be fully dressed, but it's a bowl that I ate in underwear because it's the bowl that my mom was the cook of the house, but, she had to go away once in a while. Like, she got sick of us and, like, just had to bounce. And, like, and when she did go away, like, we were left to our own resources. And my dad, like, he was a deer in headlights. And then so he put together this dish, and it's the only dish my dad has ever cooked for me throughout his life, but it's a bowl of hot steaming rice with a good knob of butter inside, and you crack a raw egg, and then you pour soy sauce, sesame oil, and a little bit of furikake. And you mix that thing up, and it just becomes like this like cheap-ass risotto, man. It's like, it's so good. But the thing is, the way you make it also contributes to the flavor. So you have to kind of make it in this state. Like if you're going to binge watch a show, if it's raining outside here in Seattle, you can't go out. If you're just feeling down and you're just at the house, like just take off your clothes, go make this bowl, sit in your couch, and just eat it and watch your favorite show. It's like that is a part of the recipe. And so me and my dad and my little sister, we used to sit in our underwear and watch TV and eat this bowl. It was so good. And if you got kimchi to boot, a little kimchi juice in there, yeah, you pour the kimchi juice in there and you mix it up all together. And then you can expand. That's the foundation, that's the foundation of
There's
the bowl.
more to it?
Like hip hop, that's the foundation, And then from there, you add Spam, you add another like soft boiled egg on top of the egg, you add togarashi, you bits of bacon, you can mince a bunch of blanched vegetables in there, whatever the case. You could add ketchup to it, it goes crazy. Hot dogs, you could add hot dogs, and then all of a sudden you add hot dogs, ketchup, and Tabasco sauce to it.
So Roy, the ramen hack went viral. There were a lot of videos. I expect a video of you making this in your underwear. And I want credit because I called this that this was going to go viral, the underwear rice bowl.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Roy, thanks for joining us in Seattle.
Oh, thank you.
That was Chef Roy Choi, author of The Choi of Cooking. We talked on stage at Fremont Abbey. A big thanks to Book Larder for setting up the event. We put a link with more info about Roy's book in our show notes. That's it for today. Thanks for listening to Seattle Eats. The show is a production of the Seattle Times and KUOW, part of the NPR network. You can support Seattle Eats by investing in the local newsroom and the specialized beats that make this storytelling possible. Please consider joining and subscribing at kuow.org/eats and seattletimes.com. Seattle Eats is produced by Claire McGrain and edited by Jim Gates and Trevor Lensmeyer. I'm Tom Vim. See you next week.